11 myths that many people have about shotguns. Greetings, friends. One of the weapons I like the most are shotguns because of their versatility. They can be used for different types of shooting, defensive, sport, hunting, etc., etc. You only have to change the ammunition. But today we are going to talk about 11 myths. Number 5 is the worst of all. And here we go. Myth number 1. They say that with shotguns, it is not necessary to aim. It is necessary to aim. Of course it is. Most shotguns have a front sight. Sometimes it's a little ball, a bead, a blade, just a dot. And the rear sight, well, is the rib of the shotgun. In other channels, in other videos rather, I have talked about how to aim. If you have, well, the fortune, let's say, or want to add, as some shotguns have, a red dot like this one, well, it makes it easier. But the reality is that you must aim with shotguns. If you don't aim, imagine at each yard, the shot can open up an inch unless you are using a choke or something, or you are using flight control cartridges. 1 inch per yard. If you shoot at 10 yards, you already have 10 inches that the shot went off its center. So it is important to aim with a shotgun, whether it has the front sight only, or if it has something electronic like this, a red dot, it is necessary to aim to hit the target. Myth number 2, anyone can use a shotgun. Careful with that. Shotguns are heavy, and because of the size of the ammunition, look, friends, you know a shotgun shell, the load that a shotgun carries, well, the recoil is quite strong, usually much stronger than any ordinary rifle or any pistol, let's say. So not everyone is meant to handle a shotgun. Of course, if you employ the technique well of how to press the stock against your shoulder to manage the recoil, well, you can learn more. But very fragile people, tiny people, minors, the elderly, very old people already, who have that fragility, perhaps the best weapon for them is not a shotgun. In any case, the most common gauge in shotguns is 12 gauge, which is the one I have here. But there are gauges, 20, 28 gauge, and the .410, which can be less strong, recommended for those people. Myth number 3, that just by racking and having this noise heard is enough to scare off the criminal. That is a lie. People have adopted that because they see it in the movies, okay? They see it in the movies. There are many criminals who have been interviewed in prisons. They have talked about the noise of the shotgun, of this pump action one that goes rack, rack. This is a semi-automatic. And they themselves say, no, that noise did not intimidate them at all to commit the crime they have to commit. What's more, it can even give away your position because of the noise. It is very possible that if you find yourself in a situation, it is better to be quiet, okay? Hold on here quietly and close softly and not have to make that noise. Number 4. Today I am talking about the topic more focused on self-defense with a shotgun. And there are people who say no, that a number 4 shell is better than 00 buckshot for defense because it opens up more, it spreads more, and since there are more pellets, there is a greater possibility. Look, the smaller that little ball is, the harder it is for it to penetrate the body of an attacker. Double O buckshot carries 9 pellets that are more or less a .32 caliber, while a number 4 ammunition, for example, which is recommended for turkey hunting, may not be as efficient. A wounded attacker may still have the ability to attack you. An attacker who receives a blast from a double O buckshot is very likely to go down in a single shot. The same as a slugger. It can also be, it is possible that the attacker with a well-placed shot can this fall instantly. Number 5, a load, what they call in English, candy cane. They call it candy cane because it has different colors on a bar, a candy cane with different colors. A varied load for different scenarios. What that means is that I'm going to load my shotgun with double O buckshot, but I'm also going to put 7.5 shells in it, and I'm also going to put sluggers in it. And that's how it goes. Look, in a moment of stress, nobody, let's say almost nobody, it's very difficult. If you can, you are not normal. I'll tell you, that's exactly how I'm telling you. In a moment of stress, it's impossible for you to keep track of how many shells you have fired of the sluggers, how many shells are coming now of 7.5 load. You simply shoot and defend yourself. So it is better to select the best load for defense. 00 buckshot is the most used for that. And carry on the side saddle some 2 or 3 slugger shells, which is a single bullet, just in case they are needed. At some point, you quickly load a slugger and chamber it, and then shoot if you need to. Myth number 6, that the shotgun is not good for long distance. Okay, of course, an AR-15 has much more range than a shotgun, but it's not that the shotgun has no range either. Pellet shells, pellet ammunition like 00 buckshot 4, 7, etc., are good, perhaps very effective up to 25 yards. 00 buckshot can be beyond 30, 35, who knows if up to 50 if you know how to aim very well. And if you use shells like flight control, for example, you can go even further, 50 yards. A slugger shot, can reach up to 100 yards. If you are good at shooting, who knows if up to 150 yards, a slugger is also good. I am 25 yards from the target. Let's shoot a 00 buckshot. There. Let's shoot with a 7.5 shell too, to see how much it opens at 25 yards. We'll see. And we're also going to shoot a slugger at the other target at 25 yards to see how it goes. You can see the impact of the 00 buckshot of 9 pellets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 impacts. Okay, 32 caliber has this target. And of the 7.5, look at how it has scattered. It opens up much more. But the effectiveness of those little pellets at that distance is useless. That is only going to sting an attacker and nothing more, and make him angrier. Look at the accuracy of a slugger at 25 yards. And I shot fast without really being well concentrated there on the shot I'm going to make. Right there, close, a slugger, 25 yards. Myth number 7, that a shotgun shot in the air scares off the bandit. Not only is it an irresponsible act to shoot in the air with any firearm, it is also with a shotgun. But the bandit who is willing to fight is not going to be scared off because he hears a detonation, a shot in the air. It's a myth. Don't waste your ammunition, because in a real attack you might need that shot you wasted in the air. Besides, it's stupid to do that, and it's a very irresponsible act to shoot in the air. Myth number 8, a shotgun is too big to be used inside the house. Of course, it's not like a pistol and a revolver. But defensive shotguns, that's why they have an 18-inch barrel, no more than that. Of course, it requires training, that you also know how to maneuver inside the house, bring the shotgun to your shoulder so that it becomes shorter, and gives you more room for you to maneuver behind walls. And of course, to guard a property, it is excellent. Specifically, or I would say better, a shotgun to guard a large property with a very large yard or a plot or a farm or something like that would be best. In the city, perhaps the best thing is a pistol or a revolver because the spaces are still small inside the house. It requires a lot of training with the shotgun. Myth number 9, the rifle is more powerful than the shotgun. The rifle has more range. And a rifle can be powerful. A .308, a 7mm Magnum, something like that, have its power. But a shotgun blast, especially from a slugger, which is ammunition of this thickness, of a full ounce, is a devastating shot. A shotgun blast, a 00 buckshot, is simply devastating. Myth number 10, a shotgun is more reliable than a rifle or than a pistol. It is not. It is a firearm like all of them. If you bought something that is not of good quality, you can expect already that it will fail you in a moment of stress. I suggest you stay away from shotguns, which are very pretty. Nowadays, they make some beautiful shotguns that have a shape. It looks like an AR-15 rifle, things like that. A shotgun, gentlemen, remains and must remain a shotgun with its tube magazine and nothing fancy. That simple. Can it fail? Yes, it can fail, especially the semi-automatics. Nowadays, they are making good semi-automatics that can take any ammunition. But many semi-automatics, if you don't use strong ammunition, won't be able to cycle the bolt well. Pump-action shotguns tend to be more reliable in a sense. But also, if the user does not have good training and does not pump as they should, it may jam too. Like all weapons, quality always prevails. Gentlemen, myth number 11. Shotguns do not need accessories. Yes, they do need accessories, just like a pistol or a rifle. It's up to the user what you want to achieve, what is the use you have for a firearm, and the shotgun is no exception. A red dot sight would fit very well if you have the possibility to mount it. A night light would be very good. A mount for extra ammunition, given the low capacity of a shotgun. The sling, this strap, because the strap is like the holster. On a long gun, the strap is like the holster. They can be accessories that make the shot a little easier, or rather the use a little easier on a shotgun. In conclusion, friends, a shotgun for your defense is not a weapon for beginners, for inexperienced people. It doesn't mean you can't have it or shouldn't have it. If it is the most appropriate in your situation, well, go ahead, of course. But never forget that it requires a lot of training, because a shotgun, loading the magazine, and when you are in a situation and you run out of ammunition, then reloading in an emergency also requires much more training, and is a weapon that is handled very differently from what we know as pistols and rifles. Friends, and that's all for now. Let me know. Leave me your comment down here if you have something to ask, or some other myth that people have about shotguns. We can all learn at the same time. I am Jaime, president and founder of the AlphaCalibre Agency of Investigation, Security, Firearms Training, and Online Gunsmithing. Thank you for being with us. See you next Saturday.